I'm Anil Kumar. In this particular video, we have few test questions. I've already talked about concepts of area of triangle. We have derived the formula. Link for the same is being provided. You can always click at that link and understand the basics before getting into this set of videos. Now we are going to take a couple of questions here to understand the concepts of area of triangle. We'll extend it to quadrilaterals and parallelogram. The question here is, if point P, Q and R are the midpoints of the sides AB, BC and CA respectively of the triangle ABC, find the vertices A, B and C of the triangle ABC, then find the area of the triangle ABC. Now the idea of writing then finding is, well, the alternate could have been that since we know the midpoints, you can find area of this triangle times 4. 2 square gives you area of triangle ABC. So you don't really have to find the vertices A, B and C to find area of triangle ABC. Now that is kind of important to understand, since in multiple choice question at times you may be asked this question in a different way, right? So remember, if you join the midpoints and form a triangle, the bigger triangle has 4 times the area. Okay, so next question will be kind of like this, which says, prove that the points A0, 0B and 1, 1 are collinear if 1 over A plus 1 over B equals to 1. You should actually pause the video, copy the questions and then try them out. I'll actually give you proof or solution of these questions also at the end of this video. Okay, now when we say that points are collinear, we are talking about area of triangle. Does it connect? Well, if they are collinear as a straight line, area of triangle will be 0, right? So if you equate area of triangle to 0, you get solution of this question. Perfect. The next question here is, find area of quadrilateral ABCD whose vertices are given to you. Now we don't know the formula for quadrilateral area. However, any quadrilateral can be divided into 2 triangles, right? So make a triangle, 2 triangles, add their areas to get the area of quadrilateral. That's the concept here, right? So that is how we'll extend area of triangle to any polygon, correct? So that's how it is. And then we'll have this question which says, vertices of parallelogram ABCD are given to you. Well, D is not given. Find the coordinates of vertex D and find area of parallelogram ABCD, right? So again, the concept of area of triangle and how will you find vertex D? Well, think about it. In a parallelogram, the diagonals bisect, right? So that is the concept which could be used here. So I hope these questions, you find them interesting, that kind of extension to what we did, and they'll help you to review this unit on area of triangles. So now let's begin by solving these questions one by one. So here is the very first question, which is, if P, Q and R are midpoints of the sides AB, BC and CA respectively of the triangle ABC, find the vertex A, B and C of the triangle, then find the area, correct? So let me just sketch a triangle here. You need not bother to do it on a coordinate plane and figure out how the orientation should be. Just sketch it. That's the whole thing. We have to save time while providing the solutions, as in test time is very critical. So let's say A, B, C, D. Let's say A, B, C, right? So P is midpoint of AB. So let me write this P as 4, 5, Q as -1, 4, and R as -3, 2. Now first step, we have to find A, B, C, D. So we can say, well, A could be x1, y1. B, let's take x2, y2. C as x3, y3. So the concept here is that the midpoint you can get by adding x1, y1. So you get x1 plus x2 divided by 2 should be equal to 4, right? Similarly, y1 plus y2 divided by 2 should be equal to 5. So you get one set of equation, cross multiply. So you get x1 plus x2 equals to twice 4, which is 8. And y1 plus y2 is twice 5, which is 10. Similarly, you can get these two equations, right? So we'll just straight away write x2 plus x3 is twice the x value, which is minus 2, and y2 plus y3 is twice the y value, which is 8. And here we get x1 plus x3 is twice the x value, which is minus 6, and y1 plus y3 will be twice 2, which is 4, right? So we get these sets, and if we add them all, then what do we get? We get 2 times, all these are twice, correct? x1 plus x2 plus x3 is equal to, when you add them, well, this is 0, good. And on this side, it is 2 times y1 plus y2 plus y3 equals to 12 plus 10, 22, right? Be careful about the calculations. I may do a lot of mistakes, but you should be, you can redo these calculations just to check and report if there are mistakes, right? 8 plus 4, 12. Okay, that seems to be okay. So what we get here is x1 plus x2 plus x3 equals to 0. y1 plus y2 plus y3 is equals to 11, right? 12 divided by 2. Now to find, let us say, x3 first, we will substitute this value. x1 plus x2 is 8. So x1 plus x2 is 8. So we say 8 plus x3 is equals to 0, or x3 equals to minus 8. Do you see that? Now y1 plus y2 is 10. So I'm substituting 10 here. So 10 plus y3 is equals to 11, and so we get y3 as equals to 11 minus 10, which is 1. So this point for us is minus 8 and 1, correct? So once you get that, you can get other triangle points also. Okay, let me complete this part. Now we can substitute x2 and x3 here. So we get x1 plus x2, x3 is minus 2 is equals to 0, so x1 is equals to 2. Now if I substitute for y2, y3, I get y1 plus 8 equals to 11, right? So y1 is equals to 11 minus 8, which is 3. So that point for us is 2 and 3, correct? So we get 2 and 3. Now the last point here, let me take another ink, and now we'll substitute x1 and x3, right? So x1 and x3 I'm substituting as minus 6 plus x2, here 0, so x2 is 6, correct? So x2 is 6 for us, and same thing I'll do for y1 and y3. So y1, y3, when I substitute for y2, I can calculate 4 plus y2 is equals to 11. So y2 is 11 minus 4, which is 7, correct? So we get our 0.67 right there. So that's the way to figure it out. I've also explained you another method of finding this. Let me show you that also here. We need not do all this calculation, okay? Here is the trick part. What we really do here is, since we are joining the midpoints, these two sides are parallel. And midpoints means they are also equal, right? So this is equal to this and also parallel. So parallel lines will have same slope, right? Same distance. In this case also. So what you can see is moving from 4 to minus 3 means take away 5, right? So you do, for x values, you do take away 5. For y values, you take away 3, correct, to get to that place. So let's do this. So, this is not take away 5, this is take away 7, right? From 4, you're getting minus 3. 4 minus 7 is minus 3, right? So take away 7. So if I take away 7 from minus 1, I get minus 8. Does it make sense to you? Correct? 5 take away 3, 4 take away 3 is 1, so you straight away get your point. So you could use this concept of take away. I hope you enjoy it, right? Similarly, we can get other points also, right? So once you get 1 point, you can just go through it. Anyway, so to save time, really, adopt this method. Perfect. Now we have to find area of the big triangle. So area of the big triangle, let's write down triangle ABC, right? It is definitely 4 times area of the, if I connect this, 4 times area of this triangle, correct? Okay. Well, it's half of, so as I said, how do we remember which one to take away? So what we do here is basically, we'll just write down 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and we'll perform in this cyclic order, clockwise in this case. So we'll write half of, let's begin with x1, which is 2, times y2 minus y3, right? So which is 7 minus 1, plus, now we write x2, which is 6, right? So when you write x2, it's just 3 minus 1. So this minus that. Is that okay? So this is minus 8. I'm sorry. We're taking the y values. 1 minus 3. Perfect. Plus x3, which is minus 8, times, when we take x3, 1 minus 2. So 3 minus 7. 3 minus 7. Is that okay? So what we get here as area of the triangle is half of 2 times 6 plus 6 times minus 2, and we have to take absolute value, minus 8 times minus 4, okay? So that's what you get. So it is half of 12 minus 12, that becomes 0, good for us, and 8 times 4 is 32. Okay, so half of 32 is 16. So that's what you get, and our answer is that area of triangle ABC is equals to 16 units square. Is it okay? So that is what we get. However, there could be mistake in calculations. So you do your own calculations. Perfect. Of course, now you can also figure out what should be the area of the smaller triangle. It should be 1/4 of this, right? So we should get 4 as the area of smaller triangle if you need to calculate it. Perfect. So let's move on to the second question now. So here is question number 2. We are given, prove that points A, 0, 0, B and 1, 1 are collinear if 1 over A plus 1 over B equals to 1. So let's form a triangle here. Kind of, it seems to be a right triangle if you have points like this. Well, not quite like after on, but anyway. So what I'll do here is just write down these points. So, so we will say that this point is, let me call this as 0B, okay, and then let me call this as 1, 1, and let me call this as A0. Okay, so that becomes my triangle. Now the question is, prove that these points are collinear. So what does that mean? Collinear means what? So in a straight line, collinear means in a straight line. Right, so if I have all the 3 points in a straight line, then what is going to be the area? So that implies that the area of the triangle will be equals to 0, right? Area of the triangle is going to be 0. That's the concept. So that means area equals to 0. Perfect. Now, if I are given 3 points, as we are given here, we can say what is the area of this triangle and equate that area to 0. So we say 0 equals to half of, now the formula is, let me write down the formula first. So we have x1 times y2 minus y3 plus x2 times, so y3 minus y1 plus x3 times, so 3 means 1 and 2 will come now, so y1 minus y2. Is it okay? So that becomes the area of the triangle. So half times all this, and we have to always take this as positive value, right? So we write absolute function here. That means positive of this. So let's substitute. So we get half of, let's say this is x1, x2, x3, right? So half of x1 is 0. So 0 times this minus, this plus 0, this minus 0. Okay. Anyway, this is 0. Plus x2 is 1. 1 times y is 0 minus b. 0 minus b. And then plus, here it is a. So a times this minus this. b minus 1. b minus 1. Okay. So that should be 0. Correct? So if I multiply by 2, it becomes 0, and I can open the bracket. The first term is 0. The second term is minus b, right? So this is minus b. Here it is plus ab, and then we get minus a, right? Now bringing these two to the left side, I get a plus b equals to ab. Now how do I prove this? Well, I can divide all the terms by ab, right? So if I divide by ab all the terms, I get a over ab plus b over ab equals to ab over ab, right? Which is what it is. So it is 1 over b plus 1 over a equals to 1. So we have actually shown that if the area is 0, then that should be met, right? So only if this is true, the points are collinear. So then it says only if this is true, area equals to 0 or points are collinear. So I hope the concept is clear, right? So let's move on to the next question now. We have the next question as the area of quadrilateral ABCD whose vertices are given to us. So this is, you just have to do some calculations here. So I'll leave that for you. Okay, so we have a quadrilateral here. So let me just make one. A is 1, 1, B is 7 minus 3, C is 12, 2, and D is 7, 21. So the idea here is to divide it into two triangles. That's the concept. Is it okay? So add these two areas, area 1 and area 2. So basically, we have area of quadrilateral, let me just make a figure here, will be equals to area of triangle, let's say ABD, plus area of triangle BCD. That's what it is, correct? So now we can just calculate this. I'm just saving some space here. We can write this as half the area of ABD. ABD will be what? Use the formula, okay? And this is all absolute values. So ABD will be, we can begin from here. So it is 1 times that minus this, which is minus 3 minus 21, plus 7 times, so you just move in this order, right? 7 times 21 minus 1, 21 minus 1, plus this is also 7, okay, this is also 7, so it is 7 times this minus this, which is 1 minus minus 3 or 1 plus 3. Is it okay? So that is one set. For the other triangle, it is, let's add, for the other triangle, we are considering this. Let's start from 7. So we'll say DBC. So 7 times this minus this, which is minus 3 minus 2, plus again 7 times this minus this, which is 2 minus 21, plus 12 times 21 minus 3, which is 5, or 21 plus 3, right? So minus becomes plus. Is it okay? That's it. So now it is half of, this is 24, okay, plus 21 minus this is 20, so 2 times 7, 140, 4 times 28, that gives us minus, okay, so this is minus 5 times 7, 35. Now here it is again negative, 20 times 4, 20 times 4. So I should do absolute value of these two triangles, right? So otherwise we may land into problems. So these are two triangles separate, correct? So we'll do absolute values. Okay. That's tricky. Now when you add this up, you get 19 times, let's multiply. So it is 19 times 7, 133. However, this one is 12 times 24, which is 288. Okay. So that's what you get. Now let's add them up. Let's add them up. It seems now it is positive value. Okay, so it is half of. So these figures are 24 plus 140 plus 28, which is 192, plus, let's see this value. So it is 288 minus 133 minus 35 equals to 130. 130, right? So that is half of, let's add them, okay, then we'll divide. So 130 plus 192 gives us 322, and divide by 2 gives us 161. So it is 161 square units. Correct? So basically what we learned here is that area of quadrilateral is sum of area of the two triangles. So if I give you a polygon with more sides, we'll have more number of triangles. Just add the area of each triangle to find the total area. Correct? So let's move on to the next question, which is vertices of a parallelogram ABCD are AB and C. Find the coordinates of vertex D and find the area of parallelogram, right? So in this particular case, we are given a parallelogram. It's a special quadrilateral where the opposite sides are parallel. So let me name them as A, B, C, and D. Now in this particular case, let's write down the coordinates. A is 3 minus 4, B is minus 1 minus 3, C is minus 6, 2, and D we don't know. Let's call it XY. Is it okay? How do you find XY? So one of the methods is that in a parallelogram, if I do a diagonal and find the midpoint, then the diagonals intersect at that midpoint. So all these sides are equal. Do you understand? So that helps you to find the coordinates of point D. So the concept here is diagonals of parallelogram bisect. That is very important, right? So this is the concept. Use this concept to find D, right? However, I use a very different method, which I'll share with you now. Since we know these are parallel and they're also equal, is it okay? So moving from B to C, what do I do? From minus 1, I'm going to minus 6, that I take away minus 5, correct? So I reach minus 6. As far as the y value is concerned, minus 3 I move to 2, so I add 5, right? So if I add 5, I get that. So I'll do the same operation here. So what happens? If I take away 5 from 3, So the x value will be, so the x value for me will be, if I take away from 3, 5, I get minus 2, and the y value will be add 5. So it is minus 4 plus 5, which is 1. So the coordinates for D, as far as I am concerned, will be minus 2, 1. Is it okay? So I'll calculate like this. No calculations required more than this. However, you have to find the midpoint. So when you add these two, you get 6 plus 3 is 9. I mean 3, because this is minus 6. So you get minus 1.5 here, minus 1.5. And when you add 2 and 4, you get minus 2. You get 1 here, right? Now using this as a midpoint and that point, you have to figure out these values, correct? So if I use this value minus 2, you can check with minus 2 minus 1, you get minus 3. Half is minus 1.5, correct? And 1 minus 3 is minus 2, and half is minus 1. So this is minus 1, correct? So you do get the values. Anyway, so this is a very effective method which you could apply. So that's a new thing for you. Is it okay? New concept. Important. Now finding area, as we did. Now in parallelogram, these two areas are also equal. So what you could do is you could just find area of one triangle and twice it. So that you could do. So basically you can find area of triangle ABC, correct? And that has to be same as the area of the other triangle from the similarity, and you're done. So it is half of let's say x value is minus 6 times this minus this, that is minus 4 plus 3. Then the next value is plus 3, so plus 3 times that minus this, which is minus 3 minus 2 plus, which is minus 1. Let me write minus 1 times this minus this, which is 2 plus 4, right? Absolute value we'll take later. So it is half of, we'll see first. So it is minus 6 times minus 1. And here it is again a negative value. Okay, so let me write plus 3 minus 5 and minus 6. Is that okay? Okay. So that gives you half of, this is 6, and that is minus 15. This is minus 6. And as you can see, it's a good idea to write absolute value, correct? So that makes sense. Area is always positive, so we'll take the positive value. So it is half of 6 is 0, so we're minus 15, correct? But we have to take the positive value. So that's the absolute function. Is that okay? So 7.5. Half of 7.5 is ABC. So what is the area of the whole thing? It is twice this time. Is it okay? So the area of parallelogram will be 2 times 7.5. So it is 15 units square. Perfect. Or you can do it twice and get the same result. Correct? So I hope with this we come to the end of our practice test questions on triangle. And I hope you appreciate how we extended our concept from triangles to quadrilaterals and parallelogram. And we also learned different techniques of finding the midpoints or missing vertex points. Feel free to share your comments and views. And if you like and share my videos, that'll be great. Thank you and all the best.